G'day folks, Scott here. Today I'm reviewing X-Men Dark Phoenix. So Dark Phoenix is a bit of a shit show. It's not very good. These X-Men films have had some very inconsistent performance when it comes from Fox Studios. I've really enjoyed some of them like X-Men 2 and Logan and Days of Future Past, but I've really hated ones like Apocalypse and Last Stand and now this. I think Disney acquiring Fox, hopefully they bring some new blood in and get someone to bring some consistent performance out of the people making these films. I think some of the actors have done a great job throughout them. I've said before that especially Professor X and Magneto, to cast them over young and old and have them all great is very well done. Forgive the industrial noise coming. There's a place being built next door. It's going all the time, so there's no good time to do this. So I guess speaking of actors, the main character being Phoenix, Jean Grey, Sophie Turner, Game of Thrones, is awful. She's okay in Game of Thrones. She's terrible in this. I didn't like her in Apocalypse. I was surprised they did another movie with her doing this again. But her acting, her performance is just non-believable. There's no range in her emotions. She just doesn't bring anything to it that Famke Janssen didn't do better in this role previously. And besides, I've already covered this Phoenix shit in Last Stand back in the day with her evolution and transformation. I don't understand why we're doing it again, especially doing it again worse. Guy directed this, wrote and produced a bunch of previous X-Men movies, so he's got a track record in the franchise and he clearly doesn't get it. So again, let's start anew, Disney, please. I'm trying to find some good things to say. I always enjoy, as I said, McAvoy and Fassbender. They were great. Fassbender, Magneto perhaps didn't have much to do in this. You know, his role was perhaps somewhat pointless apart from being in the film. Same with Mystique and some of the others. I guess from this point on, it's going to have to be spoiler world, so clearly I didn't like it, but I'm going to go into reasons why now, and if you don't want to spoil it for you, here's your warning. So 3, 2, 1, spoiler time. I don't get who these aliens are. I've always said I'm not a comic guy, so maybe these aliens that came to Earth looking for the Phoenix power that went into Jean as something from the comics, and if they are, okay, but to me, they were just shitty aliens that kind of look like the ones from Signs, but not very good. So they want the power, and they'll do anything to get it. Jean gets it in space this time, and then, you know, can't control herself, but the way she can't control herself is so inconsistent, and the position and the situation she gets herself into throughout this just make no sense the way she behaves within them. You know, she's having odds with Professor X. You know, she realizes when she becomes more powerful that he'd lied to her about her past and that her father was really alive, and she was pissed, and that's totally understandable. Also, Mystique or Raven was having issues with him, so it's about, you know, the X-Men as a whole feeling that perhaps Professor X is, you know, not got their best interests in mind, and he's perhaps being a little self-serving and enjoying his celebrity status as the X-Men are, like, at the least at the beginning of the film, just beloved by the world and the non-mutant population. So when she finds out that her father is still alive, she, you know, runs away from the X-Men and goes to see her. But she's suddenly just so immediately anti-X-Men and anti, you know, wanting them to be any part of her or to help her or anything. She loses control once and knocks a few dudes down, and completely by accident they're all like, dude, you know, we know you didn't mean it and stuff. But all of a sudden she's like, no, I don't want you to help me, and runs away. Goes to her dad. Of course, it reveals that he didn't want her in the first place, is why she was given to him and to the X-Men to, you know, take her to the school and have them raise her. Gets shitty, X-Men show up, and then, you know, she comes out of the house after, you know, like dad, you know, has rejected her, comes out, the X-Men plane lands, there's like 4 or 5 of them, like sort of at the end of the street, and all of a sudden it's like a face-off, like good guys versus bad guys, even though she's part of their family and they haven't really had a blowout yet. But it's all just like, you know, she's like, oh, fuck you guys, like, no way. And then some cops come around the corner. God knows who called them. They're there for literally no reason other than perhaps the X-Men plane showed up and landed. And she's just straight away, stay away, flipping cars and murking innocent people and stuff. I was like, where did this come from? And then, they sort of have a fight, and she ends up killing Raven / Mystique, which I guess is just her way to want to be done with this franchise in case they hire all these people again. And that makes no sense, seeing she was the one person that she openly was like, I feel the most for you and we love each other and we're best mates and that, yet, I push you away, don't come near me, and me pushing you away kills you, and ridiculous. And then she runs away again, and all of a sudden she goes and lands on some hippie islands I've never heard of, where Magneto has all his mutants that he rescues living in some kind of commune. And okay. And she shows up there and I didn't know where else to go, you're going to understand me. And he's like, okay, whose that blood is that on your shirt? And she won't tell him. And he's like, this and that, I've lived this life and I killed heaps of people. I found out it wasn't worth doing, and anger's not the right way to go, and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then the helicopters show up. No idea how they knew that she was going to go there. I guess she's like, well, if she's not at the mansion and she's not at her dad's house, she must be at this weird island commune no one's ever heard of that the government apparently gave Magneto and the other ex-bad guys to live on. So these helicopters show up, and Magneto goes out to see him, and she stays in the house, and he's like, they're like, we're looking for Jean Grey. She's not here. Oh, we're going to look around. You can't persecute us, she's not here, I'm not going to help you. She's inside using her brain powers to hear all this. But then she flips out, even though Magneto's trying to protect her, trying to stand up against these army and say, look, fuck off, she's not here. Before he even gets a chance to finish doing that, she comes outside, starts throwing helicopters around, turning things into a fucking nightmare, tells, nah, fuck you, Magneto, flies off. I was like, okay. Then she meets the alien disguised by, what's her name, Jessica Chastain, I think is her name. She's normally a redhead, but she had blonde hair and no eyebrows on this, looked awful. Meets her, and she's like, I understand what's wrong with you, this and that, and blah, 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 explains the power that has gone into her, and we can help you out, and takes her to New York, and they go to some mansion, and there's all these other alien guys in human form downstairs sort of standing around, and walks up a flight of stairs, and then all of a sudden, Professor X and Magneto and all them are showing up in New York together, and Magneto's gone there to kill her because he found out that he'd killed Mystique, and they're like, no, don't kill her, this and that, and blah, 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 and crazy. Cops show up, there's a mutant fight out the front. When she goes into this place with the blonde chick and goes upstairs, and the blonde chick's going to explain everything for her and hook her up, which of course her desire is really to take that power out of her and destroy the whole world and reformat it, colonize it for her own people. All of her aliens, 6 or 7 of these dudes are downstairs when they walk in the place, and they make some comment like, if things get out of hand, we're going to kill this chick, we'll just hang around and see what happens. Then the X-Men all fight, and, good guys versus bad guys, and all of a sudden Beast fighting on Magneto's side instead of Professor X's because he's against her, even though he's sort of, best friends, and because it's fucking, I can't even explain it that well because the story is that dumb. And they smash into this place, and all of a sudden there's fighting and stuff inside. Magneto comes in, he tries to kill the girl, and shit happens. But those dudes who were downstairs who said, we'll hang out and see what happens, and if things go bad with her, we're going to come up her and kill her so you can get the power, they just vanish. They are not seen again. Fight ensues, things go on, everybody gets caught. There's a strange army train that captures these mutants and then rockets them off across the desert, the forest to some destination, a mutant prison, I presume. Aliens come, fight, try and take the thing again. Now, there's a couple of cool moments. Magneto did some cool stuff, and Nightcrawler did some okay stuff. Storm did some okay stuff, but all of this is pretty mediocre. And then, there's a fight at the end where she's basically, Dark Phoenix is just, I'm embracing my power, and I'm not going to go with you aliens, and I'm all of a sudden friends again, and I'm going to kill you all, and I'm being good, and she basically just stands there with a stupid look on her face going, force push, force push, force push. And the people basically break apart in a slightly larger, chunky thing of what happened when Thanos snapped his fingers at the end of Infinity War. Completely unimaginative. shit gets thrown around, movie ends. I paraphrased this whole thing. I've probably forgotten tons, but it is so bad. I saw it last night. I'm already forgetting it. So I think I've given you the idea. It's shit. I don't know. This has been reshot and re-edited and stuff for ages. It was finished last year, I think, and still hadn't come out. Whatever they were doing all this time, it was a waste of their time, unless it was that much worse before. Whole things that happened didn't make sense to me. You know, when she left Magneto's, like, commune island, and she had her, like, clothes that she left the X-Men mansion in when she ran away, and it's covered in blood and all this. The next time we see her, she's got a whole new outfit, like big, long, burgundy leather jacket, new top, new boots, new jeans and all that. She didn't have a fucking purse on her when she left that place. She wasn't toting a handbag. Where did she get that shit from? Whatever. So, it's bad. I don't recommend you see it unless you're a die-hard fan or you love this girl for some reason. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching me rant about this. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you next time.